You've done terrible. I never want to see you working here ever again. You're fired. But you can't be fired because you didn't get hired in the first place. Welcome to the Superpilotish channel. My name is Graham Wilson, and today I'll be talking about some pilot resume horror stories in my basement. And of course, got to adjust my microphone. There she is. All right. Uh, okay, so I was kind of thinking about the yesterday or the last show that I did was about getting your job and stuff like that. What was it again? I was talking about something. Anyways, I'm in the job frame of mind here. And oh, hey, Shecky. Yeah, so I was thinking, okay, what can I talk about today that could be helpful? That somebody would walk away from this going, oh yeah, hey, that could help me out, get my dream job, right? And so I was thinking about like tips for your resume, and I'll get to that at the very end of the show. But I think it's kind of fun to talk about the horror stories of the horrible resumes that I've gotten as a chief flight instructor. And so I'm going to review this kind of as I would do reviewing a flight after I was flying with a student. If you've followed the channel, you know a little bit about I'll just say it, the shit sandwich. And it's like, so what happens is that's your layers, your three layers of the sandwich. So the top layer, that's your something good, like, oh yeah, all right, good job, blah blah blah. And then you get to the shit in the middle of the sandwich. There's my three layers of the sandwich, and then tips for improvement at the bottom part of your sandwich. Okay. So I will review this as okay. So the good thing about for those people that I never contacted back, well, I contacted them back through email to tell them they didn't get hired, but I never actually got to interview or anything like that. Okay, good job. Thanks for sending in the resumes. You did manage. You successfully got the resume to the right person. Me, unfortunately, it looked like garbage, or you're lying to me, and I didn't hire you. So, anyways, and I'm kind of hungry right now too. I just had something to eat, but for some reason, I'm feeling kind of hungry. I feel like having pancakes or something. I don't know. Hey, Jordan. All right. So okay, I'm gonna go over the crap part of the sandwich here now. So this one particular person, will say, sent in a resume, and most of the time you'll get a resume with a cover letter on top saying that I'm so interested and passionate about flying, and I'm so safe, and I'm the most amazing pilot in the world. They all say that. So the they would like to say that, but this one person that sent in this resume, it was like one blocked in paragraph. Here's a bunch of words together, and it just didn't make sense. Like, if you read it, it looked like he copied and pasted, or she, we'll say he for the heck of it, because aviation's about, I don't know, about 98, 97, 95% male. So we'll say he to generalize and make it more anonymous. So he yeah, you could read it, and it just made no sense at all. Like, I want fly number one, safety, exclamation mark. Huh? I eventually threw it in the garbage. I did. I guess the guy doesn't need that kind of publicity floating around. But what I would always do with these uh, resumes, that they took the time to send it to me. Okay, that's something. They didn't like proofread it or anything, but okay, And I would always send them a fine PFO letter, and you'll have to Google search what a PFO letter is, because I don't really swear on my channel. But I always like to get PFO letters. At least that they got your your resume. And so I figured that was considerate to send them a nice PFO email. And so I even said to this guy, and it was pretty obvious that that English wasn't his first language. So I mean, if you are going to be a flight instructor, you have to have a certain level of communication just to teach, right? So this guy's maybe his verbal communication was okay, but his written wasn't that great. So I said, okay, in the future, I emailed him back in my PFO letter. In the future, you might want to get someone else to take a proofread your resume and cover letter. And then so I sent it back to him. Good luck finding your job, blah blah blah. And then a few months later, the guy sent me back the exact same cover letter, unimproved. Like you don't take constructive criticism or something like that either. And another funny thing there was I would get these people that they don't do any research about what type of aircraft, what type of fleet we have, what kind of flying they can expect to do, and so it was like I'd get resumes for I'm applying for a position of first officer at your organization, and it's like you're not going to be a first officer on a Cessna 172. It's a one pilot operation, But they're just like blanket, blasting out, sitting there bored on the subway or on the bus or something, just blasting out resumes on their phone without doing any research. And it's like, okay, you know what that tells me as an employer that you don't care. You do a shoddy job. You're not paying attention to detail, which is sort of important in aviation. There's certain things you should pay attention to. And so it's like, oh, you just generally don't care. Well, if you don't care, neither do I. And and basically I sent him back the same PFO letter. I copied and pasted my old PFO letter and sent it back to him again. Well, you give me the same one twice, I'll give you the same thing twice. And never heard from that guy again. And then, or this other one, another popular one is for people that are just out there kind of sniffing around for positions. So it's like, all right, they want to be a flight instructor. So they'll put on their resume that they have all these qualifications, commercial pilot's license, class 4 flight instructor, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, oh, cool. He's got an instructor rating, so he can do the job. So I'll call the guy up and say, oh, so where did you get your instructor rating from? Was it from this flight school or that flight school? Because that was on the resume. And he says, oh, this flight school. I said, well, how did you find the flight test? And he was like, oh, I haven't done that. And I'm like on the phone. I'm like, huh? It was like, yeah, I got the written test scheduled for next week. And what? So it's like he basically lied on his resume saying, I'm qualified to do this. Oh, how did you like getting those qualifications? Oh, I'm not qualified to do that. It's like, okay, what are you lying to me? Are you wishful thinking and you're living in la la land, just assuming you're going to pass all this stuff and start work on Monday? It's like, okay, have a good life there, bud. Give me a call when you send me your resume when you actually have the qualifications, and you'll get that too. People applying for, I would like to be an instructor, and you look at, and they don't have an instructor rating. I had one guy, even he has a private pilot's license. He didn't have a commercial license. I want to work for you. You don't have the right license to work for me, So I mean, yeah, like some delusional people will just they'll send you this stuff, and you really don't want to do that because like I've said on this channel many times that the aviation industry is very small in this country, and so if somebody, and I've had that happen too, where somebody wanted to just kind of bouncing the idea off of me. It's like, oh yeah, maybe I'd like to work for you. Like, oh, okay. And like they were like a pretty, they've been flying for a long time. And I ran across somebody in Transport Canada and said, like, oh, do you know this person? What do you think? Should I hire him? And then the Transport Canada person's eyes just kind of went, "Ding. I'm not allowed to say anything." So it was like, okay, thanks for the tip. And that's another thing too, that we as employers, we're not allowed to give bad references. So it's illegal to do that. We are required to say, yeah, okay, they did work here. Da 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 da. Did they have the qualifications? Yes. So this one guy came by once and he wanted to get hired. Came by in person, which I'll get to later, is a very good way of getting your job, is showing up in person, not just through email or phone calls. So the guy came over. He seemed a little weird. I want to fly for you. And I'm like, okay. I used to work over here. Like, I happen to know the guy that works over there. Let me make a little phone call. And then so it's like the now the guy did give me a resume, and so he did list this other person as a reference. So okay, I will call up your reference now. Call them up and say, oh, so so and so used to work for you. He came in looking for a job, and then the person on the other side of the phone says, yeah, he used to work for us. That's true. And so, okay. And they're like, did he, I don't know if you're allowed to say that. Like, did he get fired or was he asked to leave or did he quit? And it would be, he said, big pause. Yeah, technically, yes, he did quit. Okay, there we go. And I'm like, did he ever, did you ever have any issues with safety with this guy? Directly safety, no. Okay, thank you for your time. Click. So it's just like the guy didn't say like, okay, he told me this guy sort of quit. Yeah, okay, guy got fired probably. And but he didn't tell me anything wrong, and he didn't break the law. He said very factual things. He did work here. There were no direct safety violations or anything like that. So, okay, cool. So it's like I'm glad I didn't hire him. And I found out he later went on to somewhere else that had a lot of problems with him. So I dodged a bullet on that one. So thank you, whoever gave me that little reference. Um, Yeah, so I mean, and now that guy, everyone knows who that guy is. Now, there's probably some people watching this could be, oh, he's got to be talking about, yeah, that's got to be him. Like, wait, he would know Graham, and then yeah, he's got to be talking about like it's that small, and for of a community up here in for the aviation community up here in Canada. And yeah, well, it's pretty cool. Got a couple of people in the chat over here. I'll reference that at the end. I'll go through and look see if there's any questions you guys have. Otherwise, have fun in the chat. And so, anyways, okay. So another thing there too is that maybe you should really pay attention to your resume is because you will be mocked. We will mock you. I am mocking you right now. Not specifically. Well, you're not supposed to mock your students or anything, but you can mock people that are like, huh, who is this moron? And but like I like to joke around, right? So it's like, oh, I just see such a horrible resume. I just want to share the humor of this horridness, right? So, but I did this one time. I kind of copied and pasted it with no name. And I said, well, okay, just for confidentiality, guys, I made copies of it and I handed it out to the employees. And I'm like, so what do you think? Judging by this resume, would you want to work with this person? And they're all looking like, oh my God, what the, what the, oh my God. And it's like, so I guess that's no. Hey, okay, I'll take those back. We'll shred those. We'll keep that all nice and confidential. But like that resume I'm talking about, dude, you just got mocked everywhere, man. So, anyways, I can't believe that, dude. Yeah, so okay, so there's a few little horror stories in there. And yeah, so I'm gonna give you now some if you are applying for flying jobs, here's some tips. So that's part of the sandwich, top layer crap, and then bottom layer with your advice. Okay, so I'm gonna do 5 things here. Five. I like to do 5, right? Because it's nice. It's one hand. 10 is like two. Then it's like jazz hands, right? That's a little too. I'm not. This isn't a tap dancing show, so you wouldn't want to see me try. Although I have a video coming up where I bust a move pretty nicely. You'll have to stay tuned for that one. Okay, so one of these things here, I would say 5 tips to get your pilot job. Now, this is how there was one guy that worked for me, I might have told the story here before too. I've told it to lots of people. And the guy was, was it, he heard, he said, "Hey, Graham, I heard someone said for me to get a job, I should get a LinkedIn page." And I'm like, "Well, I don't have a LinkedIn page myself. I don't care. I'm not looking for a job or anything." And I said, "Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess that couldn't hurt." So we started up a LinkedIn page. And then the next day, because my office was here and the other office, I could kind of see it. It's one of those offices, if you lean over, you can kind of see the person's head and you can talk. And so he said, "Hey, I got an email. Somebody wants me, this airline wants me to send them a resume. How do I make a resume?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah," because I never got a resume from the guy because he did all of his flight training with us. I hired him right away. He always worked for the family business before that, so we never had to apply for any job. So the first job he ever applied for was for an airline, and strangely enough. And then so I said, "Okay." After all like the horrible resumes that I've gotten, I'm like, "Okay, dude, just go on Google, type in pilot resume, click on that, and then click on the first thing that pops up and do that." He's like, "Oh, okay." And I can hear him typing. He's like, "Oh, yeah, pilot resume. Got it. Thanks." It's that easy. Like it, pilot resume, enter, first thing, click, do that. And these people can't even do that. Now you have to be able to Google search. That's the skill too that really isn't listed anywhere. But to find it, to sift your way through all the aviation regulations and stuff, you better know how to Google search. So and here we go. Oh, Wrench is here too. Oh, wow, and he's got a button on his, car steering wheel that says resume, so maybe it's a feature you paid for. Anyways, resume, I know. That's a good one, Rich. Okay, so, yeah, so that was on number 1, LinkedIn. Number 2, Google, pilot resume, click on the first thing, do that. And other little tips there too is I guess you could do a cover letter, but yeah, most people don't read that. But whatever, you don't go over the top saying I'm Maverick man. Okay, this guy's delusional. Whatever. You might get an interview if the guy's got a sense of humor. I want to be better than Maverick. I would totally do that. I'd call a guy. I want to be better than Maverick because he killed Goose. I'll never forgive him for that. I'd be like, this guy's got a sense of humor. I can get along with him. But that'd be 50-50. Most places don't that you fly with. They try to be a lot more serious than I ever was when I did that job. So okay, so you could have you could get the cover page or the cover letter, and then ideally one page after that. If you're shuffling through like 4 pages of uh, okay, I did ground school from this date to that date at the school, and like, okay, do you have your license? Yes, that's all I need to know. Yeah, you got it. You passed your test. You're legal to fly. So just a one page, and then also with that, because everybody that's going to be reading your resume is an old fart like me, and I got to use my progressive lenses here, or the people with no glasses. They don't want to reach for their cheaters, and they're who is this guy? So what you want to do is yeah, you want to put it in like the biggest font that's reasonable too. So like ideally, if you can give it to some guy and he doesn't have to reach for his cheaters or readers, then that'd be a good thing. Big font, one page. And don't put and yeah, like don't put every little thing that you've ever done, and put the references right on there if you can. Oh, here we go. Hey, safety dogs here too. Pretty cool. Yeah. All right. So this is strictly down. Thanks for bringing that up, Doc. Is that this is specifically for pilot resumes. It also worked pretty much for like if machine shops too, where the academic requirements really aren't all that much. It's more important, can you do the job? So We got the big font, one page. Include your references if you can, because if you say references available upon request, maybe I'm busy and maybe I got a stack, and I'll say, okay, I'll call up these references because they're right here. I don't want to have to email that guy again and get his. I'll just deal with what I got first. If I can't find anything off of that, then I'll go hunt down references. Or it, a lot of it's like who you know too. Like I've had it where, oh, so and so trained there. Oh, I know the guy that works there. Yeah, hey Joe. What do you think of this guy? Oh, he's a bum, eh? Oh, okay, thanks. Hey, how's the wife? Oh, great. Click circular file. So, yeah, no, but now they'll do that. It wasn't checking references. I was talking to like a good buddy of mine or something. If people are really good buddy, yeah, they'll they'll badmouth people. But they'll just oh, did you say give him a bad reference? Nope. Nope, nope. He didn't give me a bad reference. That's the way the real world works. And okay, and then so what else was I going to say there? Oh yeah, don't and it like say and eliminate redundant information. That's another thing I wanted to say. Like say you have if you have a commercial license, well you have to get your private pilot license before you can get your commercial license. So you don't need to put on your resume that you had the private license. Once you got a commercial, you're okay. You also don't have to put you have this category of medical, because that's a requirement of the commercial license too. If there was any limitations you might have, there are some there's I think there's some guys that they've learned how to fly on floats up north, so they can't fly at night, and they still might be a commercial pilot, but they can't fly at night. But then float planes don't fly at night. So they could be working for years up in the bush legally, but they still don't fly at night. So you would want to put that type of limitation on there just so your employer knows that you're not withholding anything. And yeah, and then like you don't have to put, okay, I have 200.5 hours on a Cessna 172. You can leave out the point 0.5. It rounded off to like fives or something. I guess you could say, oh, he's paying attention to detail by the time that point 0.5 is there. But by the time you get the resume and they get hired, they're going to have more hours anyway. So that's like what we're really looking for. Is it a number that meets the minimum for what we want? Yes. Don't care after that. Okay, and oh, hey, check this out. I'm just like snooping over here, and the safety doc got monetized. Hey, congratulations, doc. That's sweet. Yeah, excellent. So safety doc, he's got all of his hours and all of his subscribers. What about me, man? What am I, chopped liver? Like and subscribe. So, anyways, there's that. Another way that you would want to get your resume, you want to get your resume to the right person. If it's a larger flight training unit, I would say there's probably going to be some sort of desk staff that's running interference for the chief flight instructor because he or she's really busy. But it wouldn't hurt to find out the chief flight instructor's exact email and send it directly to them, not info at blah, 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 and try to get it directly to that person. And a little tip the old man's learned over the years is that if you actually send something snail mail to somebody, it shows up right on their desk. It's like, oh, that's spam, delete. Nope. Snail mail always makes it to that guy's desk. He's going to open it or she's going to open it. And this is different than email. Pretty cool. I'll just put that here and it's right there. Oh, who do I call? Man, this guy. Don't even have to print it up. Don't have to call it up on my computer. It's in my stack of stuff. Oh yeah, there it is. So I mean, and that's another thing too. Like if you said, I still haven't gotten anything in my post office box that I usually put in the description below. But if you want to send me something, I can show it online or show it on my show or whatever. And I'm running a little low on cardboard here. Okay, I'll get to that later. But yeah, so make sure that your resume gets directly to the CFI. And if possible, the best thing to do would be to show up in person. Hop in your car, go. Like, I mean, as a chief flight instructor, I was like really impressed for someone to drive all the way down to Toronto to drop off a resume and meet me in person. Very impressive. Going that extra mile. It's like, If he's going to spend his gas money to do that, he wants that job bad, and he's going to try to keep that job bad. So, like that's that's very impressive. And one of the guys, Kevin, that I did his instructor rating, and it was kind of during the pandemic where all the airline pilots were all laid off, and they all went back to their instructor jobs. So if you're a brand new instructor, there was months there where like you can't, you couldn't buy a job, man. But Kevin got in his car and he drove to every single flight training unit, every flight school in Ontario and Quebec because he could speak French. And every single one, he just drove, drop, and he found out when he made a schedule. So organization, right, made a schedule of when the CFI is going to be in the office. When can I meet with you? Brought his cell phone. Hey, I'm going to be in 15 minutes. Is that still good? Like really, really awesome. And he got a job. Way like, and he showed up to this little tiny flight school in Quebec, and the guy was like shocked to see him. He was like, "What are you doing here?" It's just like I think they had like one or two airplanes or something like that, this little out in the bush. And what are you doing here? It's like, I remember I emailed you. And here's my resume. I'm here for the job. It's like you actually showed up. So, anyways, the guy got hired there because he actually showed up, and it's very impressive to do that. What was? Oh, Solitude Surfers here too. Hey, how's it going? Um, yeah, so if you can show up in person, that goes like a long, long way. And turn on spell check on your resume. Write with paragraphs in your cover letter. Give it to somebody. Give it to your I don't know, your aunt that's the bitchy old English teacher or something like that. Have her pick it apart with a red pen and then fix it. So and then you'll look like a superstar. So okay, what else do I got to tell you here? I think that's about it. So yeah, so number one, get on LinkedIn uh, for your pilot resume. Number two, you get your just hit Google pilot resume. Click on the first thing that pops up. That's how you make it. Put it in nice big font, and try to keep it one page for your cover letter, one page for your resume. Send it directly to your CFI. I'm up to 4 here. I got my notes, and send it directly to the CFI. Snail mail is awesome. In person is the absolute best. Emails, and do some follow up. You still have that? Would you like me to? Because like when I had my, I would keep a file there. I would keep people's resumes on file for 1 year, then I'd toss them. So I would always tell them that in my PFO letter, and just like, okay, I keep it for 1 year, send me another one. And like people were sending me over the years, like, oh, this guy again. Okay. Like, and then we keep it down to, like they'd be on time about that. So I was really impressed. It's like, is like, okay, sent November 1st, 2021, then like November 3rd, 2022. Oh, okay, that one gets thrown out. This one gets refiled for a year. So the person remembered that. Really impressive. I wish I could have hired them. I wish I could have hired them, but yeah, it didn't work out that way. So, all right, that's about it. I think that's all the tips and tricks. And so there we go. And take that. Say like here's the old machinist toolbox here. If you're doing any type of job that's maybe you're a car mechanic, maybe you're a truck driver, you're a machinist, you're a millwright, whatever, electrician, plumber, whatever. People don't care if you are involved in team sports or if you play guitar. I enjoy skiing. No one cares about that. It's just strictly, and it's not what they tell you in school. In school, they tell you, oh yeah, put a list of personal interests and all that stuff. No one cares. I don't care about that. Can you fly the plane? Are you a jerk? Like it's pretty very simple for people that like work with their hands and do stuff. We just want to know, can you do the stuff? Can you show up every day? Are you good? Are you pleasant to work with? So yeah, so these tips that I gave you there, that would work for like even when I got my first my very first machine shop job, or how I tried to get in there. I had no qualifications. I couldn't do anything. I didn't take shop in high school, and so I was just I went in person. Hey, and then I ended up talking to a owner of a shop, and he looked at my resume, and it said like, "Oh yeah, I took first year calculus in university. I don't care about that. Can you drill a hole?" And it's like, no, I can now, but and he said, "Well, if you had anything at all on this resume that had anything to do with machining, I'd hire you. It looks like you're a smart guy, but yeah, you got nothing here." I'm like, okay. So then I went back and I took a continuing education CNC programming course. It was like on the weekends for 4 months or something. That was the one thing I could put on my resume. And I figured this guy's going to hire me. And then I ended up getting my first machine shop job because I ended up talking to some guy in a bar, and for some reason went into the shop, and they thought like I knew this guy, but I just met him in the bar, and he said, "Yeah, come by." And then I saw he was worked in the office. I waved at him. Everyone thought I was like super buddy with him, and his dad was a foreman. So I got hired, and they just assumed I was buddy with everyone in the office. I didn't know who this guy was. I was having a beer with him. So, anyways, and then I found out later that that other guy would have hired me anyway. So I think I called him up and thanked him, and no, 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 no. That's it. I had my resume out. They called me about a job because I gave them the new resume with the CNC thing. They called me up and I said, "No, I already got a job over here." That's right. That's what happened there. Omni Tool, good place. And okay, so let's see what we got here. Yak, yak, yak. I'm over half an hour. Like an old lady here talking in my basement. All right, I'm gonna scroll through here and see if there's any, "Hey, can you hire me?" questions. No, I don't hire anybody anymore. Okay. All right. Ranch is saying delete everything over 15 years ago. Yeah. If I had a machine shop, applied at a machine, I've worked at 10 different machine shops with, you know, like tons of different types of machines. And if I listed everything on there, I'd have like a 10-page resume. And plus my other jobs I've had. So it's like, yeah. Yeah. People don't care about what you did 10 years ago. Good point, Ranch. D, 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 D. Um, I'm gonna go back and look at some of these comments. Some of them are really good, but really, I'm just kind of looking for questions. Okay, Jordan B from SK. I think I saw you. It was one of these shows, and someone thought SK was South Korea. Jordan B from South Korea. No, it's Saskatchewan, I'm guessing. Maybe he is from South Korea. Yeah. Hey, Jordan, you got any kimchi on your pancakes? My buddy had kimchi with pancakes once because he married a Korean girl. And she didn't know, she wanted to make him like Canadian food, but she didn't know how. So she made pancakes, but she also had kimchi at the same time. She made it there when I was visiting. I'm like, oh well, I'll try it. I kind of like syrup better than kimchi on my pancakes. Okay, electrical apprentice. Okay, Jordan, I just see that like question mark. Okay, if you are an electrical apprentice, it's the same idea as being an apprentice for a machine shop. Probably something for that would be helpful is like have own transportation, have my own tools. You would probably want to put that, okay, I took this schooling at the local college if you took that, or if you don't have any experience at all, say willing to be an apprentice, have I work safely and I want to learn. I've done small projects like wiring my uncle's house or something like that. So it's like, okay, this guy wants to be an electrician. He's got a little bit of experience, worth giving him a shot. He's got his own tools. He's got transportation, which is big nowadays. There's people here don't have cars, and you try to go get a job out in a new subdivision, like you got to drive there, and the employers would probably, so they don't have to pick you up and take you into work every day. I know there's a contractor working around here that he hates picking up his all of his he spends half his morning picking up and dropping off his his workers because they lost their licenses drinking and driving, and they're just like, oh, oh well, not exactly the contractor I would hire or that staff, but I mean, yeah. So electrical apprentice, I don't think the electricians. I know one guy that's an electrician. He works by himself. Yeah, I think he's tried apprentices before, and they just quit, and they don't, you know. Oh, if you're out in Saskatchewan, willing to work in -30 weather outside, boom, hired. There you go. There's a trick for you, because people don't show up for work these days. What else have we got here? Any questions? We got everyone's still in the chat here. Okay. Okay. At -30? No, actually, where Jordan is, it gets to -40. It's probably about there's usually about a 2-week period out there in Saskatchewan where it hits -40, and -40 is the same in Fahrenheit as it is in Celsius. So that's darn cold. So yeah, okay, so that's about it. Wow, 36 minutes. This is like my longest stream ever. I must enjoy talking about it. Okay, so today is Friday, pizza day, so that's cool. And then what else is going on? Uh yeah, that's about it. Friday. Oh, that's right. I'll be back on Monday because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. And there we go. Guess we're gonna shut her down, everybody. Have a great weekend, and thanks for watching. Bye.